Welcome everyone to the deep dive. So glad you could join us today. We're plunging into something, well, pretty extraordinary, the incredibly rapid fire advancements in AI. And this is stuff that has literally just unfolded over the past week or so. You've sent us a stack of fascinating articles, some really cutting edge research, and your own insightful notes too. So our mission, like always, is to cut through all that noise, pull out the most important nuggets of knowledge and highlight those really surprising facts that might make you go, whoa, I had no idea. Get ready for breakthroughs in medicine, robotics, some mind-bending creative tools, and yeah, even some, let's call it popcorn-worthy legal drama unfolding in the AI world. And hey, if you're finding these deep dives valuable, please do remember to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. It really helps us keep bringing this content to you. Okay, let's unpack this.
Yeah, what's truly fascinating here is just the speed.
Yeah.
How quickly these developments are accelerating. It's not just a steady pace anymore. It feels like a real shift in velocity.
Yeah.
So our goal for you today isn't just to know what happened. We want you to really grasp why it matters, what kind of profound patterns are starting to emerge from this incredible speed of innovation, and how it impacts both the cutting edge stuff and, well, your daily life.
That acceleration is palpable, isn't it? You can really feel it. And when we talk about incredible velocity, let's start with AI pushing the absolute boundaries of science and health. I mean, this past week saw some truly mind-blowing scientific advancements. Okay, first up, we've got Google DeepMind's Alpha Genome. People are calling this a game-changing model because it can scan, get this, 1 million DNA letters, and then, the critical part, predict how mutations will behave.
And if we connect this to the bigger picture, Alpha Genome isn't just about making predictions faster. It fundamentally shifts the whole paradigm. We're moving away from reactive, often invasive procedures towards proactive, non-invasive genetic insights. Just imagine a future where, say, a simple blood test powered by this kind of AI could spot cancer markers years earlier than we can now, or maybe predict exactly how you will respond to a certain drug, just based on your genetics. This isn't just less invasive, it's a completely new way of thinking about preventive and personalized healthcare. A truly staggering leap. And what's really impressive, Alpha Genome is already available to researchers through Google's API, so the impact could be felt, well, sooner than you might think.
That's a huge shift in how we approach diagnosis, isn't it? Really profound. And moving from scanning DNA, which is microscopic, to detecting something as complex as brain tumors. Still in the medical field. A research team in Berlin just revealed something called CrossN. This is an AI that can apparently detect over 170 types of brain tumors, with an accuracy rate of, wait for it, 99%. Astounding. And here's the real kicker. This really stands out. It does this without surgery. Think about that. No surgery. Instead, it just uses spinal fluid and machine learning to get that kind of precision. They're already running clinical trials in Germany, which shows you just how close this might be to actual use. But I mean, what challenges do you see in like scaling and validating something like this? Such a precise, non-invasive tool across, different groups of people.
That's a really crucial question, yeah. Because the accuracy sounds incredible, right? But medical AI always has to navigate these complex regulatory hurdles and trust hurdles too. The diagnostic leap CrossN represents is just immense, going from needing invasive biopsies to maybe just a spinal fluid test for so many tumor types. Wow. It's not just about speed, it's about accessibility. It could potentially revolutionize early detection, especially in places where surgical diagnostics aren't easy to get. The main challenge, I think, will be proving it's robust, making sure it works reliably across different genetic backgrounds, different healthcare systems. But the promise of truly accessible early diagnosis for such a critical condition, it's undeniable.
Okay, so from the microscopic world of DNA and cells, let's zoom out to the much larger, more tangible world of robotics and everyday applications. AI is definitely integrating into our daily lives in some very real ways. DeepMind, again, also launched something called Gemini Robotics on device. What this means is the AI brains essentially live directly on the robot, no internet connection needed. So these bots can follow natural language commands, they can learn new skills sort of on the fly, and even tackle specific, pretty intricate tasks like folding laundry or assembling complex parts. When I hear on device and learn new skills on the fly, part of me thinks, Skynet? Is that you? But seriously, the idea of truly autonomous robots operating without being tethered to the internet, learning from their environment, it does bring up those classic sci-fi questions, doesn't it? What do you think is the biggest hurdle for these bots, beyond just connectivity, and actually integrating into our messy, unpredictable human environments?
Well, that on-device aspect for robotics, that's a monumental leap for autonomy, truly. It means robots can now operate reliably in places without stable internet. Think remote industrial sites, disaster zones, maybe even just cluttered homes, makes them a far more versatile, more resilient. The hurdle you mentioned, integrating into unpredictable human places, mostly comes down to what we call generalization. That's the ability to adapt to new, unforeseen situations without someone explicitly programming it beforehand. Gemini Robotics, by learning skills on the fly, is directly tackling this. It's shifting them from just rote automation towards more adaptive intelligence. But it's not just robots getting smarter. Anthropic just rolled out something called Claude Artifacts, which is, frankly, a standout capability. It lets basically anyone build, use, and share entire applications directly inside Claude. No external hosting needed, no complex development stacks, just code it, run it, publish it, all within the Claude interface. To give you a memorable, if slightly weird example, a team built a fully functional Gary Busey fan app, complete with quotes, an image gallery, even a link to his Cameo page, all built and running inside Claude. It really highlights how this lowers the barrier to entry for creating apps quite dramatically.
A Gary Busey fan app. Okay, that's specific.
Yeah.
But it definitely makes the point about ease of development very clear. And speaking of ease of use, ElevenLabs is now literally talking back to us. They launched this ElevenAI voice assistant. It connects to your apps, think Google Calendar, Perplexity, Notion, and it gives you real-time updates and summaries in your own cloned voice. You can literally have your own little assistant delivering info in a voice you know very well. They also dropped a new mobile app for instant text-to-speech with voice cloning. Okay, maybe the UI is a little clunky right now, they say, but the power behind it, undeniable. Think about the accessibility possibilities there, for people with speaking difficulties, or just the convenience for making personalized audio.
Definitely. And for those of you wrestling with just too many files, everywhere, ChatGPT Plus users now have something called GPT connectors. This feature lets you directly and securely connect to your cloud storage, your Google Drive, Dropbox, SharePoint, Box. You ask a question, and it can instantly search across all those files, pulling info, summarizing docs, finding specific data points. It's sort of like having your own AI-powered file clerk who knows exactly where everything is. That's the coffee breaks, I guess. Plus, ChatGPT also gained a new record feature. It can now record your meeting, Zoom, Teams, Meet, whatever, and automatically summarize the conversation. It can identify key decisions, even pull out action items. It's a powerful tool, right, for quiet, efficient note-taking in meetings. Though, yeah, it does bring up that conversation about the nuances of privacy when you're recording everything in collaborative digital spaces. That low-key creep factor is, well, it's real.
Yeah, that balance is tricky. Okay, moving into the more creative and personal AI tools, Higsfield AI dropped a new image model they're calling Soul. It's designed to be incredibly realistic, apparently, with specific preset aesthetics like elevator mirror selfies and even distinct hair clips built into its style. It's still text to image for now, but the level of stylistic control and that sort of hyper-realistic output seems like a significant step for creators looking for very specific visual moods. And for music creators, Udio's new Sessions feature sounds like a genuine game changer. It intelligently detects sections like the chorus or the bridge in your AI-generated track, and then lets you visually edit the lyrics and sounds. So you can effectively remix and refine AI music without starting over from scratch. They admit it might still be a bit clunky, but just the ability to iterate and fine-tune your AI compositions, that's a huge leap for musical creativity. Then Google also launched Doppel. This looks like the ultimate virtual try-on app. You upload your selfie, and it shows you how you look in different outfits, even animating your movements. It's like having a digital dressing room right there in your phone, minus the fitting room awkwardness and, questionable lighting. And last one in this batch, if you've got a Ring camera, the AI just got significantly smarter. Notifications now give you highly specific details. Like instead of just motion detected, it might say 2 people walking a white dog. Much more useful context, right? Much more detail lets you instantly assess what's going on. Maybe just a tiny bit spooky too, but useful. So when you look at all this, how AI is just seeping into every corner, our clothes, our home security, our creative tools, what does this kind of pervasive integration ultimately mean for us?
Yeah, it means AI is becoming less of a separate tool that you consciously use, and it's becoming more of an integrated, almost ambient layer in our digital lives. It's moving from something you operate to something that assists you, often invisibly, across tons of platforms and devices. This pervasive integration, it points towards a future of highly personalized experiences, where systems might anticipate your needs, automate boring tasks, even enhance your creative output in ways we're just starting to figure out. It's about empowering individuals, sure, but it's also fundamentally changing our relationship with technology itself.
That invisible assistance, that's a crucial point, isn't it? Because it does shift our relationship with tech. from active engagement to maybe a more passive reliance,
Hmm.
which has its own implications for how we interact with the world. But okay, it's not all just cool new tech and gadgets. Every revolutionary wave creates ripples, right?
Hmm.
And right now, the legal and ethical frameworks around AI are really feeling the full force of that wave. The AI legal landscape isn't just complex, it's become this dramatic, ongoing battleground.
And this really raises an important question. How quickly can our legal and ethical frameworks truly adapt to this kind of rapid innovation? It's moving so fast. First off, there's been some interesting drama around OpenAI. A company called IYO is suing OpenAI and Jony Ive. They're accusing them of basically stealing wearable AI concepts after a product pitch and then launching a new venture under a very similar name, IO. Now, OpenAI vehemently denies all this. They say they aren't even building earbuds. But the lawsuit is definitely heating up. It's a clear sign of the intense competition and, well, the IP battles that are emerging. And in that same kind of drama folder, Sam Altman just went on a podcast hosted by, get this, the New York Times. The very same New York Times that's currently suing OpenAI. You could practically feel the tension, apparently, when the host pressed him on tricky issues like privacy, data use, where they get their training data. Yeah, truly popcorn-worthy stuff.
Wow, talk about an awkward office party. Right.
Mhm.
But beyond those individual dramas, there have been some pretty significant AI lawsuit wins just this past week, setting crucial precedents. Anthropic, for instance, scored a major legal win. A ruling came down saying training on scanned books counts as fair use, as long as you bought the books. That distinction is incredibly important, yeah, because it suggests a path for AI training that respects copyright but still lets development happen. Meta also won a case, but specifically because the plaintiffs couldn't definitively prove that its large language model was spitting out entire copyrighted books verbatim rather than, transforming the content. And interestingly, Getty Images, probably seeing these rulings and maybe reassessing things, ended up dropping part of their big lawsuit against Stability AI. So it feels like the legal system is starting to grapple with these complexities, but then you look at the bigger regulatory picture.
Exactly. And the biggest legal drama, maybe on the horizon, involves the U.S. government itself. They've put forward this really controversial proposal to block states from regulating AI for the next 10 years. And the proposal goes even further. It threatens to withhold federal broadband funding if states try to enforce their own AI laws during that time. The stated reason: to stay competitive with China in the global AI race. But critics, and frankly I tend to agree with them here, are saying 10 years is just way, way too long, given the warp speed of technological change we've been talking about. This decision could seriously hamstring states from dealing with unforeseen issues, deep fakes, algorithmic bias, job displacement at a local level. How do you feel about that delicate balance? Fostering innovation versus ensuring there's adequate regulation. It seems like this constant high-stakes tug-of-war.
It really does. 10 years in AI time. That's like a century in human time almost. The pace is just immense. It feels incredibly fast, and locking in regulation for that long seems, well, like trying to predict the weather 10 years from now. Very difficult. Okay, finally, for those of you listening who are actually building the future, the developers out there, there's also been a significant update.
Indeed. Yeah, for the coders, the engineers, the innovators, Google just dropped Gemini CLI. It's a command line AI assistant that works right there in your terminal. Think about that for a second. You don't need to switch contexts anymore, go to a web interface or some IDE plugin. This is about native integration, operating right where coders live. It allows for really rapid-fire prototyping, complex code generation, help with debugging, even creating custom scripts on the fly. It's open source, offers something like 60+ free requests per minute, and it's powered by Gemini 2.5 Pro. Coders seem to be loving it because it's not just some fancy tool for big tech. It's an accessible co-pilot that really lowers the barrier to entry for AI native development. It's fundamentally changing how developers build and interact with code. This isn't just, an incremental improvement. It feels like the beginning of a new era for developer tools.
So there you have it, a deep dive into the major AI updates from just this past week. Wow, from DNA decoders and brain tumor detection to apps you can build inside other apps, and even courtroom shakeups and robot brains that learn on their own. This space isn't just moving fast, it's accelerating into, well, warp speed. You've just gotten a shortcut to being well-informed on a week of truly incredible AI news, all distilled from those sources you provided.
And as we see AI advancing in, well, everything from DNA scanning to app building, and as we face these really complex legal questions and regulatory debates, maybe consider this. How quickly will our legal and ethical frameworks truly adapt to keep pace with this warp speed of technological innovation? Can they? And what role do you think individual users, researchers, all of us play in guiding this trajectory? Do we shape AI or is it shaping us? And how actively are we participating in that conversation?
Powerful questions for a powerful week in AI. Absolutely. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive. We really hope you found it as fascinating as we did. And we definitely encourage you to keep exploring the incredible, fast-changing world of AI. If you enjoyed this, please do like the video, share it with someone else who you think would find it valuable. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more deep dives like this one. We'll see you next time.